Hello out there, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be embroidering a pansy on a thrifted polo. Yeah, the pansy is a really fun flower to embroider. I like it because it can be so many different colors: purple, yellow, orange, there's red ones, there's always black and white in it as well. So I like to do it to use up the rest of my purple thread. I tend to use purple the least out of all of the colors, so there comes a time where I have like a buildup of purple thread and I figure, hey, embroider pansies. And then the polo also happens to be lavender, so it kind of goes well together. Yeah, I don't have too much more to say, so I'm just gonna roll right into the tutorial. This is the shirt I'm going to be embroidering. It is cotton. It has a little bit of stretch to it. And I got this from one of my favorite thrift stores called Men's Consignment. It is a men's consignment store in Manasquan, New Jersey. I don't have too much of a game plan other than wanting to cover this label and also knowing that I want to stitch a pansy, so I'm going to make my drawing and cover up this little elephant. I'm going to be using a micron to draw today. Okay, so the drawing is done and now we can start stitching. These are some threads that I grabbed that were nearby. I knew I wanted to use some purple, and I also grabbed green, black, yellow, orange. Because I've been stitching a lot of pansies through the years, I have gotten used to like an autopilot of just kind of winging it with colors, but it's not a bad idea to maybe check out Pinterest and find some inspiration for a color story. The first portion of this flower I'm going to do is the center, which is a little green. I have this small piece of green thread, and I'm just going to do a couple of short stitches right in the center. I have two different shades of green for the stem and the leaves. By the way, the leaves that I drew are not accurate to what a pansy's leaves actually look like, but I thought it would be cute anyways to have them look kind of like ferns. But the shade of Kelly green I'm doing for the lines that hold the leaves and the stem, and then I have a brighter kind of lime green that is going to be the actual leaves. There are some markings around the green center spot that are just tiny little accents I'm going to do in this orangey gold shade. Again, I'm just filling in the spot that I drew with short straight stitches. I think these are called a satin stitch. I was having a little bit of trouble with the texture of the fabric. Sometimes knits can be very frustrating to work with, so I don't always recommend something like a t-shirt to embroider on if you're a beginner. I much personally prefer linens, but it is nice to wear jerseys and knits, so every once in a while I will do an embroidery project on something stretchy. I'm adding a little touch of red to the bottom petal, just another little detail, and I love the color red. Alright, I'm going to get started with filling in the actual petals, or the majority of the petals. I'm starting with a shade of yellow for the inner parts, but the majority of the petals are going to be purple with some black accents. Again, I'm doing straight stitches. It is a little challenging with this fabric, but I'm okay if it's a little messy because the colors I'm going to be stitching slightly on top of each other so that it's got a little bit of a layered effect, but you'll see that when I go into the next color. Okay, next I'm adding some black detail. I'm basically going to do like edging around the yellow that I just stitched. And I'm going to kind of overlap these stitches into the yellow so that they blend together and don't look like separate pieces of embroidery. Okay, after the black portion, I'm adding a medium tone of purple. Again, it's going to be the same method. I'm going around the stitches I already made in this purple thread, kind of overlapping so that it's blended together. And these are going to be slightly longer stitches because it's a larger portion that I'm covering in this shade of purple. When I get to the spot where the logo is, it is kind of more tricky. I'm covering the thread completely over the spot where the logo is. So yeah, I'm not sticking my needle into the part where the logo is embroidered because that thread is extremely dense and I probably end up hurting my fingertips if I tried that. So I'm stitching right above it and just trying to be very neat and cover it completely. I think that looks pretty cute, and now I'm going to add a final outer edging for these 3 lower petals, and I'm going to be doing a slightly darker shade of purple than the body of the petal. It comes off looking very dark in the video, and you could use black also, which I love that look as well. You can pick a variety of colors really for any of the portions of this flower. It's really fun to mix it up, and especially if you're doing more than one pansy on the same project, have like a garden variety of different types. Okay, so I went back on me saying I wasn't going to stitch through the logo. If I can remember correctly, this is me attempting to, I don't know, elegantly stitch these 2 portions of purple together cohesively, but the label is there making it very hard. But I am stitching through it actually so that I can kind of layer the threads. It wasn't as bad as I initially anticipated, but also I'm watching this footage a couple days after I did the project, so it's maybe I forget how difficult this was, and watching the footage I'm like, oh, it doesn't look that bad. Finally, for these top petals, I'm adding the border first, which I'm doing in black thread, and similarly they're straight stitches, you know, just filling in where my drawing is. And then I'm adding purple for the main petal. I'm just filling in this entire shape in the purple, even though I have a drawing that shows what could potentially be some kind of detail. I'm just filling the whole thing in purple to make it easy for myself. I decided I wanted to bring the two side petals to the foreground because it kind of looked like the top ones were in front of them. So I'm using that first shade of purple that I did the first three petals in, and I'm going to be stitching another row kind of like in front of the one I just did. I don't know if that makes sense. You can see it in the video. I'm kind of just layering this lighter shade of purple on top to make it look like this petal is in front of the other one. I'm going to do the same thing to this other side petal and bring it to the front of the flower. And then that's pretty much it. I can iron out the shirt so that there's no weird marks from the hoop, and I'll try it on and show you how it came out. And that's how it came out. Here's the little pansy covering up the logo on the polo. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I forgot to film an outro, so this is me saying thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. Bye!